Hello my viewers, this is Shiny back with another video for the Advanced League. We are still on Season 19 and this week was the Semifinals. One of the brackets is between the Wishing Star Jirachis and the 710 Spheals. Today we have my teammate Yerb going against Kenny. I did not see this match live, and I haven't looked at the replay, so I have absolutely no idea how this series went. So everyone watching and I are going to be opening up a box of chocolates, metaphorically speaking. Alright, 3, 2, 1, let's play! We start off with both players leading Tyranitar. macnz is faster, so his Tyranitar has a bit of an advantage here. Neither player switches. Kenny immediately goes for the Brick Break. And Yerb Dragon Dances on turn 1. That is an incredibly brazen play. First of all, a +1 Earthquake cannot one-hit KO any Tyranitar set. And also, if Kenny switched, Mint's Tyranitar probably wouldn't be able to deal any damage because it would probably be forced out by a Rock Resist. With any setup sweeper, at the very start of the game, you're better off just dealing damage to exert offensive pressure early on. Based on what we knew from the get-go, this Tyranitar is probably a mixed set from Kenny, and mixed Tars are usually content with trading. Skarmory pivots in on the Earthquake, trying to roar it, and the follow-up Rock Slide didn't miss and flinched the Skarmory, and took half of its health, oh my god. The second Rock Slide takes Skarmory down to 8%, and instead of roaring, this Skarmory has Drill Peck, so it takes down the Tyranitar. It also sucks for Kenny because at this low health, Skarmory has almost no opportunity to set up spikes, so the rest of his Pokemon are going to have a harder time breaking through Yerb's core. Now these two Celebes are trading Hidden Power Fires at each other. If I were Yerb, I probably wouldn't be this reckless with my Calm Mind Celebe's health. Even though Mint is ahead in this game state, the Celebi might have a good matchup into Kenny's team late game, so he should probably save it for the end game. But who knows, Yerb might have a Calm Mind Jirachi in the back for all we know. Oh, the Skarmory gets sacked here, and no spikes are up. Yeah, that's not good for Kenny. Salamence comes in for a revenge kill, and if you look at the Sandstorm damage order, this Celebi is faster, so it could be a Dragon Dance Salamence, or this Celebi might have 308 speed and this could be a 299 speed Mixments. Also, just a small rant, why did Showdown make it so that both Pokemon's leftovers activate at the same time, instead of one after the other? Ever since that change, looking at replays has made me irked the whole time. If it ain't fixed, don't break it. Celebi uses Psychic on the Salamence, and we find out that the Salamence is mixed, and the Fire Blast didn't miss. Oh, Yerb reveals a Raikou. I was not expecting that. Well, it revenge kills the Salamence, and Kenny sends in Celebi hoping that this is a Hidden Power Grass Raikou and not a Hidden Power Ice, and the Celebi is kind of death fodder anyway, and it dies to Crunch. I was not expecting that either. Kenny's forced to send in Metagross, take a lot of damage from Thunderbolt, and revenge kill with Earthquake. It is still technically 3-on-3 for both players, however, Kenny not being able to Spike Shuffle with a Phaser, and Yerb not needing Spike's pressure at all, Yerb is still favored in this endgame. Also, I just yapped over the fact that this Metagross exploded on the Swampert using Substitute. It would have been slightly better if Yerb had Protect instead of Substitute. Yerb figures that this Tyranitar is mixed, so he sends in Registeel, also an uncommon Pokemon in Advanced. And he's correct, that Tyranitar used Hidden Power. Kenny's Tyranitar retaliates with a Fire Blast, and Registeel has to use 2 Thunder Waves to break through Tyranitar's Lumberry. On the follow-up Fire Blast, it misses. Dang. Yeah, in this game, Lady Luck is giving Kenny the short end of the stick. But I think even if Kenny had neutral luck, Yerb probably still had the better matchup this whole time. This Swampert is setting up 2 more substitutes. As much as a 9% Endeavor Swampert isn't super ideal, it can still get the job done depending on Kenny's last. On turn 21, any water move takes down Tyranitar, and the last Pokemon is Starmie. Being 1 point faster than the boosted Swampert, Starmie Ice Beams it down, and Yerb sends in Registeel again. It looks like Kenny's Starmie has to fish for freezes in order to have any shot at victory, and Registeel just gets 1 explosion off to finish the battle. Mint doesn't even reveal his last Pokemon, making his team even harder to scout, wow. That team had a couple of unconventional picks like Crunch Raikou and Registeel, but both Pokemon, combined with Calm Mind Celebi, contributed to the offensive beatdown that took down Kenny's Spike's offense team. Kenny's team is pretty solid by all means. It just needed like 3 layers of spikes for the mons like Starmie and Salamence to poke holes at Yerb's team. As strong as Yerb's team is, however, it looks like it would struggle against special offense teams with Duck Trio and like offensive Suicune. In this game though, Yerb had a good matchup, and he had unrelenting offensive momentum this whole game, and Kenny didn't really have a chance to set up his own offensive pressure. Let's move on to the next game. Mint Yerb leads with Zapdos. Kenny leads with Salamence. We immediately see a switch out into Claydol as Zapdos goes for Thunder Wave. Up next is a double switch. Now Metagross and Celebi are on the battlefield. Kenny switches out into Metagross and oh, interesting. Mint Yerb explodes his own Metagross, sort of like Houdini. Wait a second, that play is very familiar. I'm getting deja vu here. Maybe I did see this live and I just forgot. Never mind, I just checked both my browsing histories and I did not watch this battle live. Maybe someone made that play in another game, I don't know. On the double down, Mint Yerb sends in Tyranitar and Kenny sends in Snorlax. This matchup is absolutely not favorable for Kenny, so he has to switch into Milotic, and this Tyranitar uses Double Edge as a mid-ground. Based on the damage, I think it's Choice Banded. Milotic is forced to recover on the switch, and never mind, this Tyranitar reveals Dragon Dance. So it's probably Dragon Dance plus Lumberry. Where have we seen this offensive pressure before? With Sandstorm damage, these boosted Rock Slides are going to be a 2-hit KO on this Milotic. Instead of getting flinched though, Milotic actually brings it low with Surf. Kenny has to let Milotic go so that Claydol can take a lot of damage from Double Edge and Revenge Kill with Earthquake. So Mint Yerb's Dragon Dance Tyranitar did its job again. The side effect to this damage though, is that Claydol cannot survive a hidden power from Zapdos, forcing a switch to Snorlax. Mint Yerb is ahead in the game and did not have to do this at all, but he could have used that information to Thunderbolt on the switch instead. The Zapdos is now forced out, and hold on, Zapdos stays in and takes a Body Slam. I guess Mint Yerb does not have a normal resist anymore considering both Tyranitar and Metagross are down. So this is pretty much going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Unfortunately for Kenny, neither Body Slam paralyzed, so the Snorlax is going to be down to 17% and unable to threaten anything. Yeah, Kenny needed some bit of luck to get back in this game. Mint Yerb Revenge kills the Snorlax with Jirachi, and Kenny's Claydol has to hope that Fire Punch is Mint Yerb's best attack here. Claydol does get one hit in with Earthquake even though it wasn't a critical hit as the Jirachi sets up. However, this Jirachi does have Hidden Power Grass, and it finishes its target off. That critical hit didn't matter by the way. Well, maybe it could have mattered if the Jirachi had less special attack investment, but based on this set, I doubt it. At this point, Mint Superachi pretty much has it in the bag. Kenny has to play for critical hits now, and he's just not getting them. This Jirachi 2-hit KOs the Celebi with Fire Punch, and this Salamence that comes in might be faster or slower. It turns out that this Salamence is faster, and it reveals Flamethrower. It must be a mix set with 328 speed. But why Flamethrower? Mixed Mets always need Fire Blast for immediate damage against Steel types, especially with a naive nature. Salamence goes down to Ice Beam here, not that it could really one-hit KO the Swampert. Even if Kenny could slot in Hidden Power Grass, you would need a critical hit. And just like that, this set is over. Mint Yerb won 2-0. So yeah, Mint Yerb had another offensive team, although this one has more standard picks, while Kenny was running a defensive Milodol team. Based on that team synergy, I think Kenny's Salamence had Wish in the 4th slot instead of Hidden Power. Like last time though, Kenny wasn't really able to take a lead in this game. He was kind of forced to play on defense the whole time instead of making very aggressive plays to back Mint Yerb into a corner, and his luck wasn't particularly good, especially with Snorlax against Zapdos. If Claydol was able to explode on the Zapdos, then Snorlax would have had more health to take on the other special attackers on Mint Yerb's team. In addition, Kenny wasn't able to pivot his Mons in such a way that warranted Salamence coming in on an Earthquake or something and then wishing up the teammates. Pretty much all of Kenny's Pokemon either got 1-hit KO'd or 2-hit KO'd, except Snorlax. With that Choice Band Metagross against Kenny's own Metagross, it kind of set the stage for how the rest of the match was going to go. Otherwise, Kenny's Metagross could have handled the Dragon Dance Tyranitar. Overall, Mint Yerb just had good positions this whole game and didn't get messed up by bad luck. And both players were playing very well. Mint Yerb may have won this set, but there are 11 more games to be played in this week. Between these two teams, the Tooth Fairies and the Wise Men's Council, who will make it to the finals? The only way to find out is to keep watching the Advanced League. This is Starstruck Shiny, signing off.